So this is going to be the photo train for yesterday. So yeah, I was starting off on the photos taken at the back end of yesterday, because that's where we are now, which is Giardini Access in Hotel La Riva, and today June's driving us down to a place which is near, well, it's called Samosa Beach, and that's for, is it a couple of nights, June?
Yes.
Yeah. And where was it near?
Syracuse.
Syracuse, famous Syracuse. So we can spend a couple of days there roughly, and then we're going on to meet Enrico and Matilda at that's the Hotel sul Mare al Gabbiano, the seagull, I think that means, and that is at Punta Secca.
No,
so no Scoglietti. Oh, scusi, got it wrong. Right, so now I have to press that button. That's what makes it difficult to hold the camera. So these are just simply the frames I took last night, going in a bit more detail about where we're going down to today. And then I ended up with the picture on the wall, and that was the end of the photo trail from yesterday. So now in the now to the beginning of the first photos I took yesterday, starting with, yes, the laptop, using the tools with what's written on it, which says, oh, it doesn't matter, too retired for, too busy for work and all the rest of that. So now, yes, there's June and I in the room where we are now, and Samantha in the next room. Oh yes, the old telephone down in the reception area, or whatever you call that. And yeah, so we're getting ready. Oh yes, that's the computer that anybody can use in the reception. Very useful. So we can see, the tracker says that's where we are. That's, anybody can see that on the contact page. And by the way, what I'm finding very difficult is holding this phone with one hand. Right, enough of my problems. Now, carry on through. So we're now, oh yes, I picked up a newspaper last Sicilia, and one cartoon amused me. I wonder if you can recognise who that guy is. I'm not sure, the guy with the hood, but that looks like Mr. Trump, but I don't know. That's in the Sicilian newspaper. And yeah, so there's still the reception, lovely stuff they've got there. Yeah, came from a London auction, I think, many years ago. So that's just after 10 local time. And I'm wondering what we're going to do. Oh yes, wondering, that was it. The arrangement was that Matilda and Enrico were going to pick us up and take us out for a surprise trip somewhere. And where it turned out they were taking us was a place north called Montalbano, not to be confused with the TV series, which we love. So yeah, so we're off in the car. Matilda did lots of driving yesterday, and yeah, so I take occasional glance at the sat-nav to see where we are. That's the sat-nav she's using in the car. So up into the mountains, and of course through the little towns. Lovely. Oh, that was an interesting spot. This is probably one of the highlights of the holiday so far, because the road had completely collapsed away. I don't know, some of the pictures, yes. Now you can probably see there, that's the middle of the road, okay? And the rest of the road has collapsed down the mountainside, but you could just about squeeze. It didn't have a, oh yeah, it was a little lizard. Hello, Mr. Lizard. And that could be from the other side. Yes. So I managed to walk around that bit very carefully, didn't tread on the edges, and there's still the other side. And for some reason Matilda didn't want to just simply put her foot down and jump over the gap, but not to worry. So yeah, that's looking a bit closer, very carefully. Yeah, so what are you going to do? Well, I suppose you've got to go back the other way. Yeah, there's Enrico walking up to make sure I'm okay. Or perhaps Enrico was thinking of doing the same as I. But yeah, so that's their car, so we're going back to the car. Looks like we're chatting to some other people. Yes, I'm afraid, yes, the road isn't closed here. Yeah, you missed the sign. That's Matilda speaking to the other guys. Yeah, so we're back in the car. There you go, that's what makes life interesting. So we're now on our journey again to Montalbano, up into the hills. Lovely, of course. Looks like yeah, through the little tiny streets. And of course, the sat-nav Matilda's using doesn't work very well for obvious reasons of screening of the GPS and everything when you're in the middle of a little town. So it's not surprising if mistakes are made, and that's what makes life amusing. So, gradually... Oh yes, a horse. Hello, Mr. Horse. One thing that didn't seem quite right is he wasn't wearing dark glasses, which I think most animals, and of course people, do in Sicily. There's a glimpse of Enrico. Yeah, because Matilda said, yeah, Robin, sit in the front, and June, Samantha and Enrico in the back. So, well, that's different. That is a cow, I think, a mooka in the road. Yes, hello, Mr. Cow. You have to be very careful you drive past, if you drive past the back end. Yes, hello. Again, he's not wearing dark glasses. I just find it a bit confusing. Yeah, Enrico and June. Right, so getting into the area, which is it's apparently famous for Montalbano. That's the place up in the mountains, and it's the carvings in the rocks. And there's a view of the north face of Etna that has still got a little bit of snow on it. Because we were thinking, oh, we normally loads of snow on top of Etna, even at this time of the year. So yeah, that's a glimpse of that. Again, little old buildings, so we stopped there. Oh yes, now that guy, his name is Nino, and yes, he's I don't know what you call it, but basically a bit of a younger pensioner than us. It really sounds a really interesting guy. He gave me a load of information about well, I won't say too much, but anyhow, so we're walking up, following the route up to there, the sort of maps, and yes, flowers. Oh, that's him. That's Nino. Hi, Nino. And yeah, so that's good. Yeah, we must have got out of the car. I probably spent some time and spoke to him before they joined us and walked up. Yeah, Nino's. At that time, he chose not to have any shoes. Perhaps he was thinking, people say, oh, he's penniless, he'll pay a bit more for his wares. And of course, he's got a lot of stuff there. So, June's pointing out something there. Not quite sure what it is. Oh, yes, it's the islands offshore, north of Sicily, including Vulcano, where we have stayed in previous years. Yeah, there we go. Now, can I sell you anything, sir? But he's got stuff, but yeah, so we didn't on that occasion. There was other occasions we did. So yeah, but at the end of the day, what's important are the people rather than the things. The difference is me and you here. Beautiful things for beautiful people. Yes, he's obviously targeting the English or the Americans. Yeah, so we're making our way up. Yeah, Trasse puddle of water, believe it or not. And that looks like, yeah, it looks like corn, I think. There's a name for it, I've forgotten now. And a restaurant was named after it. Ear of corn. And there's a poppy. Yes, had poppies up there. Just makes you remember things. Yeah, so carry it on up. Yeah, so all these rocks, this is apparently what this place is famous for, because when you look in detail, the rocks have been carved. Obviously humans have carved them. Apparently there's some conspiracy theories about aliens as well, but I think the interesting question is, when were they carved? Because it could have gone right back to, I don't know, it wouldn't be Neolithic, I don't think, but could be before the ancient Greeks. But yes, and they did have a lot of posters saying about the stuff that were up on the wall, but that fallen down. But anyhow, probably won't be able to read these. Don't think even the photos, but yeah. So looking around there, and then of course, yes, somebody insisted on taking a picture of me. Having a bit of fun. I couldn't climb up the whole lot, unfortunately. Didn't have the equipment for it. But yeah, of course we met some lovely people, and the conversations obviously depends on where they're from. And yeah, so that's one of the rocks. Oh, and there's a goat looking down on us. Yeah. There he is, up on a rock, high point, got a vantage point. By the way, that noise in the background sounds like we've got some workmen doing some building work nearby. Right, yeah, women using their smartphones for taking pictures. I guess Enrico took that picture. Don't know, could have been somebody. June took a lot of good stuff. Obviously a smartphone, which I'm using right now, produces better technical quality than my horrible little camera, but it's not horrible. It's old, but that's not the same. That looks like somebody had a barbecue. That's why I take a picture of that. A little fire there, probably against the walls, but oh, that's wondering what that is. And I said, that object there, we probably took a close-up of it, I said looks like a guy in a crash helmet. So perhaps it might go back to ancient times, but perhaps they had motorbikes. And we did meet some bikers there, and that was lovely to... yes, and there's Robin sat on that. I think it was a guy's head. Yes, there's one of the couples that we were chatting to. Lovely. I think, yes, they were bikers, of course, because you can see he's got a helmet with him. So that was one of the conversation topics, including my dad with his gruff superior. And yeah, I'm just not quite sure that what it is. Oh, ants. Yes. There were quite a lot of ants, but it's quite difficult to get pictures of them. Yeah, views, lovely landscape, really interesting. Yeah, and then we sat and relaxed on a great big slab of rock. Lots of rock there. Yes, refreshments, plenty of water. And Matilda's probably pointing out Etna in the far distance. Yeah, windmills, modern ones. Ah, now that's what I found interesting, which was a thistle, and I'm not sure what those are. They were like a little beetle, like a large version of a ladybird, but black with white spots. Now, I'm sure one could search that up, and on Google Images, or even just looking at it and recognise what sort of insect that is. There's another close-up of them. a little cluster of them. So it's almost as if you'd say, yeah, why did they all choose to be on that one bud? Yeah, perhaps the eggs are planted there and they hatch out and stay on it. Oh, it looks like we're back to Nino and his things he has for sale. Yeah. Looking at some of the things he's got. So back in the car and back on a journey to wherever the next place was. I think it was, I can't remember the name of the town, but it was, yeah, there's history of the place there. They had a castle, I seem to remember. Yes. And yes, there was a lovely lady trading stuff, and yeah, good prices. So I bought June a little birthday present as a surprise. Yeah, very expensive, that real silver and all the rest of it. And of course, I don't think those are artifacts they made. It sounds more likely that, well, I won't speculate about whether they were, what the source was. Can't be many. Yeah, so we're now in the cafe. And yeah, so Samantha's showing something on the smartphone, which are probably photos she'd taken. Can't see where that is. Probably Etna. And June's also took something. Oh yeah, so probably when we were up there. So the pictures, so you can just about see. Yes. Oh, that was it when Enrico and I were separated from the women, let them go on and do their thing. So they thought they'd take the quicker route, but in fact Enrico and I took a much faster route. There's Matilda showing us something. Oh yes, that's the yes. Now that, whether it looks like a woman, I think it's supposedly, I don't know. You can always search up and find out about this place. Montalbano it's called, as opposed to Montalbano the tea series, which we love. And so we're in the cafe, or whatever you call it, and yeah, Enrico and Matilda, and probably looking at more pictures. And yeah, that was that said Arnaldo, but apparently Arnaldo was going way back, Middle Ages, if I've got it right, was a physician or doctor of the king, because at some stage the king lived in the castle, I suppose, but then that would probably be a regional one. I don't know. This is going back a bit, certainly before my time. Ah, here's the lovely food that's come there, and so we're still eating, and there's their little doggy. Now their doggy, I think it was a lady doggy, and I'm not sure I can remember the name. No, I can't remember its name now. Might have been Cello or something. Yes, and yes, they had a lot more food than me. Yeah, Enrico, he's saying, oh, it looks okay. And June's enjoying hers. Yes, it's kind of a spaghetti thing, but I don't know. Ah, that was a picture on the wall, and that shows, I don't know if I got a close-up of it. Yes, that shows, it was a photo, and that shows taken on a particularly clear day, obviously shot from that Montalbano area with the rocks, Mount Etna pushing out a decent amount of smoke. No smoke rings in that picture, but lovely picture, that photograph. So carry on with their meal. Yes. And there's there's the doggy. Hello, doggy. So we're now making our way from the cafe, and we took a brief look into the castle. We didn't go right inside, we just had a quick look around. Yeah, that I tried to take a picture of the text that had on the sign, but didn't come out with the brightness of the camera and everything. So that was a brief. And there's a pussycat. Hello. There's two pussycats. And they're guarding the castle. Yeah, that's the castle. And those are guard cats. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? So back to the car. And long trip back. It's a lovely trip, of course, through the countryside, coming basically along valleys. Yeah, Robin fell off to sleep. That was when I realised that I'd done. I thought I'd take it for the photo trail, but they'd noticed I'd gone off to sleep. I'm not sure how long it was. Might have been tens of minutes rather than minutes. Yeah, woke up. That was it. And so, beginning to recognise places that were on our route, and gradually you start to recognise the towns where you are. So yes, back to the room. So got back there, back to Giardini Naxos and Hotel La Riva. Yeah, on the balcony looking out. Yes, had a bit of a relax there, and yeah, checked things out in the room, including June's video from the day before. And what else? Yes, so that video worked, was up there, and maybe this one will as well. And then it looked like they said, oh yes, I took a walk out while they decided what they did, and had a Coca-Cola, and of course chatted to a few guys. Volcano, check that out. I thought, if they're interested in going out. And there's that was the lead car for a large procession related to the church. Very large number of people, and of all ages. And again, we didn't know what it was. Some sort of there's obviously probably an annual procession on a particular day celebrating something. So had members of the church, members of the community, all ages, and a band as well. So march all the way along the front and the hotel. So you see it's getting dark now. So now women say, oh yes, we fancy something light. Not much more than cocktails really, but of course cocktails, they insist on providing stuff. And that was what I thought would be a small, I can't remember the name of it, just for me. And in fact we all shared it, and there was plenty of it. In fact we had some left over. And yes, they're checking on their smartphones and messages. And June had booked Samoa Beach for, I think it's a couple of nights, which is where we're going to today. Sort of break our journey down, but also be near Syracuse, which is a fantastic place, as practically every place in Sicily is. So yeah, I'm relaxing with a glass of Coca-Cola. And yeah, so they said, oh yeah, I fancy going to an ice cream next. That's Samantha saying she fancied that. And so yeah, walked further along. I went into the Shitso bar. Now, yeah, you might, I'm not sure what that means. If you told English-speaking people that recommended that place, which was nice, they might have second thoughts due to the name, I don't know. But that was it, Shitso. So we went in there, and yes, I had a cornet, of course a huge amount of ice cream in it. That was it. So now we're making our way back, I guess. Yes, June's taking some pictures. Probably it was the waves crashing on the rocks, and certainly her smartphone I'm using right now gave better results, and it's all to do with like this. Back to La Riva. Yeah, and then they said, oh, we fancy a coffee. So we had coffee, sat out the front, and she obviously checked for things. I forced myself to have a limoncello, And yes, and here's the pictures you would have seen earlier, which is June's made the booking, so our trip will be from where we are now, Hotel La Riva, Giardini Naxos, staying for I think it's a couple of nights. We go past Catania, at Samoa Beach, and then we'll be moving on to meet up with Enrico and Matilda. Of course, we know that Bundeseka well. So, what's next? Yeah, it's just zooming in a bit more detail where we're going. Yeah, so that's where we're going today. So we'll be travelling down there in the next hour or two, I guess. We'll be checking out the hotel here. And so this is winding it up with the picture in this room. There, up on the wall. There. And so I'll be passing this over to June for her to try and upload onto YouTube. So, arrivederci. Did I stop it there?